Alright.
What up, gang? Today I'm showing y'all how I made my song Beechwood, and the coolest thing about this is I made it with a bunch of kids' toys. I got this pack of bad boys for like $20 on Amazon, and it was a very good purchase. I'm very glad that I got these because it produced this wonderful song that we're gonna break down today. So I initially started this project just to get some like loops down. So like what I'll do sometimes is I'll make just like, it's called a perk loop, and it's just percussion, and you can throw it into any song. You can make it any tempo. So I was just gonna make a bunch of those on this project on Logic and then just pull from them later so I could have them in my back pocket if I needed them. But then I really liked what I had, so yeah, I'm gonna break it down for y'all. All right, so I got all the things that we used. Here's the first sound we have. It's these little 2 blocks. That's the thing that you hear the most, if I'm being honest. Now we got the egg. I just put it in my fist, and something that I would do with all of these, I did like a bunch of takes, and then I'd take one left and one right. You can kind of see where it's zoomed in right there, panned all the way in the other ears. Then I did a take where I was shaking the egg, like, and then we got the tambourine. So here's what all of that sounds like together. Obviously, that's not what you hear in the song. I added a bunch of processing to all of it. I also went and I added a kick. I didn't have a sound that I could make that like would make like a really thick kick. So not every drum in here is from the toys, but it's most of it. So the final drums that I ended up with after all of the processing, I added distortion and a couple EQs on all of them. Got this. So it sounds pretty sweet. Going into all of the melodies, I had just gotten a plugin called Analog Lab. It's such a good plugin.
I met it in the video. For those of you who don't know what a plugin is, that is something that makes sounds, and you load it into your computer and it gives you a bunch of new like pianos and basses and keys and different things that you can play on your keyboard.
Every melody from this song is from Analog Lab. Such a good investment. Starting off, we got this bass. Pretty cool. And then there's this pad that goes throughout the whole song, and this just plays throughout the remainder of the entire song, as you can see, and it sounds really cool with the bass. Coming in, we got the chords. Pretty interesting chord progression. I didn't necessarily follow the exact notes that you typically use. I added some top notes on the last 3 chords. It sounds like this. And then it falls down. But then on the counter synth, I just did the basic chords. Later in the song comes in right here. I have this little repeating synth that just does a bunch of 16th notes. And that's kind of just like to build the pace up of the song. That's more of a sound that you don't hear as much. You kind of just feel it in the song and you notice it if it was gone, but you don't really notice when it's there. Then we have these 2 counter melodies right here. That melody doesn't make a lot of sense by itself, and it doesn't really sound that good. But I took all of those notes from that and I shifted them over, playing the same thing, just delayed in a higher octave, and it makes so much more sense now. And then once you hear that, like in context, the most interesting part about this song, I feel like, is the 808. I haven't used an 808 in a song that I've put out on Spotify in what feels like a really long time. On 19, I used a lot of 808s. But then, like, when I went acoustic, you kind of lose that electronic side of using, like, 808 basses and drums like these. But the 808 makes the whole song. It catches you off guard, which is kind of like the whole point of the song, is just, like, the element of surprise. But it also just, like, sounds sick. I mean, it's like an 808. Who doesn't love that? Here's what that sounds like. It's the best. In this song, I couldn't have gotten away with like making a basic trap beat with the 808s, but since I have these like unique drums that are like samples from like kids' toys, you know what I mean? You kind of get away with the 808 and it makes it sound different. So like That's just like crunchy. Like that's so sick. The last thing in the song is this little beep that I made. I took a sine wave that just sounded like this. It sounds like a grocery store checkout. I added a bunch of distortion, delay effects, and reverb, and it sounds like this now. And that coming in with the bass is genuinely one of the most beautiful things I've ever heard in my life. All of it. So it's a pretty unique instrumental. It's a pretty unique song. This song means a lot to me. So it being the best performing song off Beechwood, I appreciate you guys for the support. I really enjoy this one. I don't know if my vocal chain or my vocals appeal to you guys, but it's a lot more boring than how I produce the song. So I'll leave that out for this one, but if you want to see that in the next one, let me know down in the comments. Thank you for watching this video. See you next Friday. Peace out.